Hey guys, it's lateness from the Mad Galaxy here, and I'm finally here to give you guys a review of Star Trek Into Darkness, the sequel to J.J. Abrams' 2009 reboot of Star Trek. Now, I have not reviewed Star Trek, but I will say that I'm a big fan of that film. I bought it some weeks ago before seeing this film, and I have to say that film was really good. I saw it only once before that, the year it came out. And yeah, I mean, it was such a great film. It really kind of revitalized Star Trek. And if I were to give it a review on this channel, I'd give it an A for sure. Just really fun. Kind of had some Star Wars injected into it, but it was still very true to what Star Trek actually is. And yeah, just a very good film. Now with Star Trek Into Darkness, ever since I saw that first teaser trailer, the first trailer that they showed of it, I've been so pumped for this film because that trailer was so intense. You know, there was hardly any dialogue in it. It just kind of showed like Kirk and Benedict Cumberbatch's character, John Harrison, kind of facing off, you know, and just certain great visual effects shots and stuff like that, great intense music. And I was just so pumped ever since seeing that. And yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to this movie ever since then, really. And I have to happily tell you guys that I loved this movie so much. I adored this film. And first off, I just want to note also that I've never been a huge Star Trek fan as far as the TV show goes, but then I've never really watched it. I've only seen bits of it, like on TV Land back when it used to be on there. And, you know, I mean, it just seemed, it never really grabbed my attention. I'm not saying I wouldn't like it now if I were to watch it. I do plan on watching it at some point in the future, seeing if I'm into it, but I just, you know, back in the day, I just was never, as a kid, it never grabbed me like, I guess, like Star Wars did. But this film is fantastic. It is just so perfectly put together. And I mean that. When I say that, I'm not exaggerating. I really mean that this film is so tightly put together. That's one of the big things that impressed me about this film, is how self-assured it was the whole time. J.J. Abrams directed this with such a sure hand. Like, he knew exactly what he wanted, and he went for that. And first off, I just want to talk about the cast. The cast in the original film was fantastic, and again, it's much of the same cast here this time, and they are brilliant in this film, even better, because the script and the story actually gives them room to shine even more. In my opinion, the biggest example of that is Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. His performance just has all kinds of new layers in this film. You know, new layers than it did in the original film. In the original film, James Kirk was he was still very cocky and very kind of arrogant, kind of carefree. But in this film, certain things happened to him that actually really called for him to be a leader, to really step up and to mature and to grow up. And James Kirk, Chris Pine does a terrific job portraying that in this film and really makes this role his own. He does such an iconic, great job in this film. Loved his performance. Same goes for Zachary Quinto as Spock. He is just phenomenal as well. And the two of them together is one of the best bromances of all time. Right up there with Woody and Buzz. You know, Sam, Frodo, Han Solo, Luke. You know, you just got, you know, Harry and Ron. It's one of the great bromances of all time. And the two of them just have such great chemistry. So many great scenes in this film. You really see that friendship grow. And I loved every scene that had something like that. Also, you have Zoe Saldana as Nyota Uhura. She is great once again in this film. She gets more to do as well. And then you have Carl Urban as Bones, who is fantastic as ever. That guy, I have to say, Carl Urban is actually a very diverse actor, believe it or not. He really knows how to inhabit a character. And he does a great job in this film. Just so good, so good. Also, you got Simon Pegg as Scotty, and, you know, other actors. I mean, everybody does their part. Benedict Cumberbatch as the villain of this film is terrific. For what he gets to do on film, that guy owns this role so much. Just loved him in this film. He is so great, so menacing, and just quietly menacing in a way. And anyway, moving on to other things about this movie. It's got great visual effects, great set pieces, great action. I mean, everything. The visuals look beautiful. It's not overly CGI. It's just appropriately CGI. It looks great. The action scenes are actually very well shot. Even though some of it is kind of shaky cam, it actually really works for this film because you can see that the action is actually well choreographed. And it looks terrific. Also, the score by Michael Giacchino, I've actually listened to the full score on YouTube. And his score is so great for this film. Very classic Star Trek-like. Kind of makes it feel like an episode of the TV show in a way. And it's just, it's even better in my opinion than the score for the first film. It's that fun to listen to. And Giacchino is easily one of my favorite composers working today. Probably in my top 3 actually, as far as film composers go. And also, I just have to say that the story of this film, when I said that J.J. Abrams directed this film with a very sure hand, one of the things was the story. The story of this movie was so well crafted. There was never anything in it that felt like it didn't belong. There was never anything that felt like it, in my opinion, should have been tweaked. I mean, it was just so, you felt like he was so sure what he was doing. Things felt like they moved along naturally in this film. The character development, the places where they went. This film had a very great adventure aspect that is definitely true to what Star Trek is. And then, I know it's people, you might feel that it's overused when people say that something is the Empire Strikes Back of the series, but this is definitely the Empire Strikes Back to the original Star Trek because the characters go to different places, they mature more, get more development, the story gets darker. This is definitely the Empire Strikes Back of this series, and Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars film, so that says great things for this. I loved every minute of this film. And if I have one complaint, it's that a certain scene towards the end, of the climax that is, I feel like the climax wrapped up a little too quickly. But that is a very, very, very small complaint because I loved everything else about this movie, and I can't even really say that's a flaw. It's just something that I would have preferred for them to do just a little bit differently, but that's just me. I just wanted a little bit longer. But other than that, I mean, I was so emotionally invested in this film, especially by the end. I was never bored. I was always entertained. And also the script was incredible. It was very, very witty, very funny. The audience I was with laughed at all of the jokes. I laughed at all the jokes, and it was natural laughter. It wasn't forced laughter. Or it wasn't because I felt like I was supposed to laugh. It was actually genuine laughter. The script was so good. And I have to say that this movie makes me feel so great about J.J. Abrams doing Star Wars Episode 7. I really feel like that guy can do incredible justice to that and make a great Star Wars film. And I'm kind of actually a little bit sad that he won't be doing Star Trek 3 because he did phenomenal with this film. In my opinion, this actually surpasses the first one. So I'm going to give Star Trek Into Darkness an A+. I mean, I think it absolutely deserves it. Again, the little thing I said about the climax, that doesn't take away from the fact that this film was amazing. It really was amazing, and I know I'm going to buy it instantly first day on Blu-ray. It was that good. My favorite film of the summer so far, favorite film of the year so far, even though I've only really seen Iron Man 3 and now this, but such a great movie. Let you guys let me know what you think about Star Trek Into Darkness. Do you love it more than the first one, as much as the first one, less? How do you feel about it? And are you guys big Star Trek fans? And also, how do you feel about J.J. Abrams doing Star Wars? I'm curious to know. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. My next review will probably be maybe a Superman film, if not Man of Steel. It might be one of the older Superman films in preparation for that. Stay tuned. And anyway, this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy signing off.